Shalom. Want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Ha'abrakak, Wadash. Double honors, of course, to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Honors to you, I came out there doing this work of truth and sincerity, presenting your bodies a living sacrifice, to bring out this 144% truth to the hopeful elect/elect, and a sincere shalom to the hopeful one-third men, women, and children. I've been trying to put up this video all day, but been real busy at the fucking plantation, man. You know, kind of put me in a bad mood. So, fucking death to America, man. Real talk. Fuck these people. This truth is more important than this fucking job and my bills being paid, man. Straight up. Just ridiculous bullshit all day. But anyways, enough bitching. Gonna get right into this. I saw this article, and it's gonna be a real short video. One precept came to mind. It was Obadiah 1:7, and you'll see why. So without further ado, let's jump right into this, man. This is an article from endtimeheadlines.org. It says how China built in a backdoor threat that could take down the U.S. electric grid. And we'll start reading. Electrical substations are in almost every city nationwide. Most house transformers play a huge part in getting power out to you. The larger they are, the more critical. Transformers have been called by many people the Achilles heel of the electric grid, explained Joe Wise, an engineer and independent consultant. Transformers, reading on. Transformers take voltage sent by power plants and convert it to a level that can be distributed. Essentially, they keep electricity flowing at safe levels. While the U.S. electric grid consists of thousands of them, the high voltage carriers make up less than 3%. Even so, they are responsible for transporting 60 to 70% of our electricity nationwide. And Slovakia, I'm just looking at what's going on here. Slovakia, 1 second. Alright, cool. Fuck, man. Fucking people are annoying today. Slovakia. These are 500-ton, 20-foot-tall, multi-million-dollar machines, Wise said. They are also custom-made in China. And experts like Wise say while the U.S. is busy securing its networks, China has the ability and opportunity to sabotage the equipment we rely on them to manufacture. Essentially, they've created a backdoor in our electric grid. And that's a huge, huge vulnerability. Like I was saying in a previous video, we don't live like homesteaders anymore, where, only big cities and, suburbs rely on the power grid. This isn't the 50s, and even in the 50s, rural and self-sustained living was being kind of pushed out of the forefront. This is where you had the TV revolution, the advertising revolution was all through the 50s, where products were made to make your life easier, so to speak. So how much more now in 2022, when literally the entire world relies on the power grid. For number one, you have to look at it like this. If you live in a first world country, i.e. America, the UK, Canada, even maybe a second world country, like Mexico or wherever have you, as long as you're not a third world fucking starving desert where there's literally no infrastructure, chances are that you rely on the power grid. So, this is a very, very, very interesting article here, I know here in America, you can't live rule. You know, they've made they've damn near outlawed every single facet of natural self-sustained living. You know, go try to build a fucking cabin on one of these national parks or one of these famous places like in the Appalachians. You know, you're not going to get away with it. They have drones, and now we live in an era of drones that just fly over swaths of land and are able to, you know, pinpoint you, and they send out some so-called park rangers because this is really, you know, this isn't our land, especially the Israelites, man. You know, so I think it's very interesting that, you know, Esau put himself in this predicament, you know, and this goes to show you just because, you know, Esau, he always has a way of fucking himself over. He thinks that the things that he does are wise when really it's all designed to fuck him over at the end. Because what did he do? Oh, we're going to make life hard on the Israelites. We're going to do this and that. We're going to force them to live under our system. All while, what did he do? He shipped the jobs out to China, out to Taiwan, out to Vietnam, out to Korea, South Korea, excuse me, out to all of these third world countries, you know, Mexico included, and thinks that the job is going to be done perfectly, and that, you know, these people that he's given these jobs to in other countries to say fuck the Israelites, you know, even though Issachar is Israelites, you know, it's like it's going to backfire. It's going to backfire. You know, this is what made me think of Obadiah 1:7. You know, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. So yeah, you know, they ate your bread. You know, they've taken your money, so to speak, and also your philosophies, and they've really turned it against you. You know what I'm saying? In a very easy way. You know, if Esau was smart, all the important shit would be manufactured here. You see, you wouldn't have military parts, so on and so forth. You know, parts of the power grid being outsourced to fucking China, man. But you see, that's the wickedness of Esau. Instead of letting Jake be middle class, and well, this isn't about being middle class and living it up here in Babylon, but instead of giving Jake jobs, they'd rather ship him across the country, or excuse me, across the globe, to their enemies, in, that actually have discrepancies with them, and think that everything's gonna be okay. Like, you give Jake a job, what can Jake do against you? Esau, nothing. We have no power whatsoever. But you still decide to take your jobs and ship them overseas and act like that was the smartest thing you could do. Oh, we saved X, because you're listening to some fucking Harvard MBA, some dumb fucking kid who listened to some fucking weak-minded professor that doesn't have any type of foresight, and it's all about profit, 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 profit. You know, with these fucking generic ass college degrees, and you can tell that a lot of these companies listen to a bunch of young Edomites that were fucking children of Amalek, more than likely, that think they know a lot of shit, but really, you know, the Most High deals with gifts, but he gives them to certain people. You know, you guys aren't Mile and Shell Bauer. You guys aren't the Rothschild baking family. You know what I mean? So by listening to these young college kids, what did Esau do? You know, this is the sons that he listened to his own sons. Well, how about we outsource the production of these transmitters or transistors or whatever the article said to China, where we'll only have to pay, you know, 25 to 30 cents on the unit as opposed to, you know, paying for the entire unit and the manufacturing cost and the labor cost and the, you know, the overall benefit cost that it costs to employ people here in America. You see, let's just outsource, and then it'll skyrocket our profit margins. And this is also how Akim and Aqua. This is also how you've seen the income gap that the news talks about skyrocket in favor of these motherfucking these corporation CEOs. Because what? All they do is outsource. They're not technical geniuses. They're not financial geniuses. They're not geniuses whatsoever. They're following an old model that has destroyed many a nation while giving them exuberant amounts of money. And because these people can move to in and out of the country with ease and charter their own private jets, it doesn't seem like it's going to affect them. So they're like, hey, I'll fuck America, I'll fuck Brazil, I'll fuck every country as long as I get the money out of it, you know? But what they don't understand is at some point it causes a collapse. So then you get to a point where you have all this wealth and all this money, but you can't show your face outside. And you have to go fucking hide in a deep underground military base, you know, and hope to God that those soldiers in there that are fucking so-called assigned to protect you don't go crazy and just kill you. See what I'm saying? It's a fucking foolish endeavor, you know, but that's typical Esau MO. I'm going to outsource rather than give Jake the opportunity. So, you know what? Fuck them. Next paragraph. What they have, this is this paragraph right here. What they have is the ability to do. They have their finger on the trigger today that they can take over the transformer and everything that transformer supplies coming in or out the ground. That's a very big deal, Weiss cautioned. He said this is no hypothetical warning. So this isn't like a doomsday scenario. This is a real imminent threat to the U.S. power grid. This is why I'm doing the video. The U.S. has already discovered backdoor electronics in Chinese-made transformer. So they discovered, you know, by having their security engineers go through and, you know, look at everything, they've already discovered these backdoor electronics in their transformers. It was that discovery that led the then President Donald Trump to sign an executive order in May of 2020 banning the acquisition, importation, transfer, or installation of any bulk power systems from foreign adversaries. The discovery also led to something that's never happened before. The next large transformers from China that arrived at the port of Hudson was intercepted by the U.S. Department of Energy and taken to Sandia National Laboratory. Remember, this is a 500-ton multi-million-dollar machine, so there was a utility missing. Wise explained. Llewellyn King is a journalist who has been covering the energy field for decades. When he approached the Energy Department about the missing transformer, he was met with a veil of silence. No comment to me in very much a comment is very much a comment. It says, "There's smoke and then there's fire. If there's smoke, there must be fire." Slovakia. King told CBN News. So not only do our domestic utilities not know what has been found, or closest allies that also have Chinese-made transformers do not know what has been found, Wise noted. There are more than 200 of these large Chinese transformers in our electric grid to date. One account for 10% of the power going to New York City. Another supplies 18 to 20% of the power going to Las Vegas. Yet the U.S. is still focused on cyber networks, something China has already proven it can bypass. So, you know, not only is he being deceived, but he's also being made small. You know, it's clear that, you know, China is going to be the technical arm of that that Russian alliance. You see what I'm saying? Because and it makes perfect sense, you know, because even when I was a young child and my seeing my grandpa, who was, you know, an engineer, you know, for, you know, a government contractor, you know, let me not say all, but a majority of his counterparts and coworkers were fucking Ammon and Moab. You know, and like the Apostle Dahar says, they haven't forgot who their enemy is and what happened, man. You know, Esau is such a fool that because Jake is so submissive and subtle and beggarly, you know, that he thinks these other nations are the same. You know, he's really resting on his laurels. Well, I took over the Israelites and they're destitute and poor in my country, and he's not thinking about any future enemies. And this is how the Most High is going to put him in that trick bag that the apostles talked about, man. You know, the Chinese have back doors into some of the most integral parts of our fucking electrical grid, as we read. And, you know, Esau doesn't even want to talk about that. It's all about Ukraine, Russia. You know, you see what I'm saying? That's why we have to be wise and understand that a lot of that stuff coming out of there is propaganda. You see, those soldiers have been over there since 2013. Yes, I said it. They have been over there since 2013. You know what I mean? Unless YouTube is so fucking stupid, it's going to erase all the Vice documentaries from 5, 6, 7 years ago about the Ukraine war, then, you know, there's footage of them taking over Crimea without a shot being fired. So this is all the doing of the Most High. You know, but we have to be aware and be circumspect, which means what? You know, cover all avenues, man, not just Ukraine. You see, because all these nations have a part to play. Because what? China was what? Confederate with Esau at a time in order to conquer and suppress the Israelites, man. Judah on down, man. You know, so that's why, you know, when I read the article, Obadiah 1:7 came to mind. I'm going to read that and I'll let you guys go. You know, this Obadiah 1:7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men were at peace with thee have deceived thee. So what is a confederacy? Just for educational purposes, because I usually break this down all the time. Bereth, covenant, alliance, pledge. So all the men of your alliance, Esau, have brought you even to the border and deceived you. See, because they had an alliance when it came to the suppression of knowledge of our history, man. You see what I'm saying? So we have to be weary of the things that we ingest media-wise, because, you know, it could be, you know, some BS, you know? Like the apostle was saying, just double check, you know? But, you know, this article made perfect sense because the U.S.'s number one way to drive up profit margins is to outsource manufacturing. That's the number one way to drive up profit margins. Because if they had to sit here and let's say all the car companies were here and, you know, maybe like let's say a third of the population worked for car companies, you know, you would not only would you get a discount, but on top of that, you're looking at healthcare benefits that they'd have to pay. And on top of that, you'd have to pay a median wage to tens of thousands of workers, you know, at maybe, you know, 60, 70, 80, 90K, depending on, you know, from entry level to senior management, you know, maybe even 100K, maybe even multi six figures. See? So it's beneficial for these corporations to, I guess, house here, but outsource the materials handling and manufacturing to cheaper countries. You know, so they sit here, oh, I'm an American company, but yet your product is the resources are being mined in Brazil, they're being shipped to China, manufactured there, sent to Taiwan to be placed on ships to come here. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just a whole lot of, you know, BS that Esau's got himself into, but it's beautiful to see that he's in a position now where because he trusted in his pledge, in his alliance, in his confederacy, you see what I'm saying? It backfired. Let's read on. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and have prevailed against thee. That back door into your power grid is prevailing against you. See? They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. And they've eaten your bread, they've taken your money, but they've also laid a wound under you, that back door. See? There is none understanding in him. And Esau, you don't understand because all you care about, your God is money. See? So all you care about is that profit margin rising. As long as that profit margin rising, it doesn't matter if that company started a war. It doesn't matter if that company displaced a village. It doesn't matter if that company is fucking up the environment. The profit margins are going up, you see? And this is why Esau is being deceived, man. you know, and it's really beautiful, you know. So at any time when, you know, Putin feels pressed, he can have, you know, his Chinese arm, part of his alliance, you know, get to hacking and taking down this power grid, because, you know, we've talked about a blackout for a long time here in this truth, starting with the apostles and others on down, you know, and it's very, very plausible, you know. And now we're coming out with information that corroborates that, you know, these engineers have found these technical back doors, these pieces of electronics that are placed somewhere in these 20-foot multi-ton pieces of machine, you know, that give China access to do what they will, you know. And 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 it's a beautiful thing, man, you know, because it's making these scriptures come alive, man. You know, this is 2022, the year of the turn up, and the Most High is turning up, and he's lifting up the skirt of Esau, man. And you're getting to see him being made desolate and his kingdom being chipped away at, you know. And with that, you know, I pray that this was edifying, you know, to you guys, Lord willing. And I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Habrakakwadash. Double honors, of course, to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. Honors to you, I came out there doing this work of truth and sincerity. Present your bodies as a living sacrifice to bring us 144% truth to the hopeful elect / select. And a sincere shalom to the hopeful 1/3.